Welcome. Today I'm just going to go into a brief basic description on how to operate a YVAA control panel. So this is, like I say, it's just going to be a basic operation. Stick with it. Towards the middle to end of the video will be all the little good bits with all the codes and how to test fan motors and valves and such just from this keypad. Makes maintenance easy, makes troubleshooting easy. So stick with the video. I'm just going to start with the basic thing. I'm going to go through each button. I'll do it in sort of a timely fashion so the video won't drag on. But as you approach, you'll notice that you'll have your display that tells you what compressor's running, if there's any faults, and the status of the equipment. Besides that, we're going to start with the status button. Same thing. You can go back to the status by pushing this button anytime you want. The next thing is the unit data. When you push the unit data, it'll tell you what the current return and leaving water temperatures are. You can work your way through there. It tells you the outside ambient temperature and a bunch of other info, like if the flow switch is on or not, what lead system is current, evaporator heaters, and the likes. Have a bit of a play. And then the next one's going to be System 1 data. This is where you find all your pressures, oil pressure, discharge, suction, and temperatures, adductor, discharge, subcooling, and the like. And motor temps, because it'll have, it has quite a bit, you know, flash tank level economizer. Like I say, these panels, have a bit of a play with it. Don't change anything, but have a bit of a play and become real familiar with them. Condenser fans currently, if you had any that are on. My favorite thing about this keypad when it comes to your system data is you don't have to press the System 2, System 3. All you have to do is press the arrow over and it'll tell you System 2 discharge. And you can go back to System 1 by pushing the arrow again, System 1. So you can actually compare, if both systems are running, you can compare them just by going with your arrow. And of course, the rest of the buttons, you know, you got System 1, System 2, System 3, System 4. It's all going to be the same. You're going to find the same, similar values in all those if you have that many systems. Next button is the VSD data. You go in there and it's going to tell you the status of what the VSD is doing for both systems. All right, so that's just good maintenance information. And like I say, it's there for you to take a look at and see what the equipment's doing. Of course, you got the operating hours and starts, so you can write that down in the old piece of paper. The history is great. You got your fault shutdowns, faults or shutdowns, so you got your different history type. You can just press your enter, and right now the fault history is empty, but it's always good when you're doing a service or whatnot to always check the history and just see what's happened to the equipment. Next one is the set points. Pretty easy, straightforward. Get set points, you can change it around. Currently this one's set at 12 degrees with a differential of 1.1. So those are quite easy to change with this numerical touchpad. You can change those set points. And then it can go into your remote set points and the like. All right. Program. Program's a little bit different. In order for us to enter the program, we have to put in a special code. That code is 4245, enter. That'll get you into basically the setup of the equipment. So all units are different and we can actually set the equipments up to suit the units. So for instance, this one, system number 1 has 6 fans. Now if system number 2 had 4 fans, we could change it by simply just working our way through the thing. But this one here, they're both even. They both have 6 fans. And you got your operating hours. So if you change the compressor, you can change your hours to suit with the new compressor. You can adjust it. How many starts, you can adjust it. And you can also clear your history buffers here. So this is where you would clear those. Remote temperature disabled. So all these little options are in here. Remote current, sound limit, and the like. Condenser fan control. You can actually have OPT stage. So there's different types of fan control. You can have VSD fan control and the like. This is also where you select what compressors you're driving. All right, because sometimes these big units come with 2 different size compressors, and you got to make sure they have the correct compressor selected. So this is all the type of stuff you'd be doing and looking through and setting up when you're commissioning the unit. Maximum operating speed, because these compressors actually have a maximum operating speed, and you'd find that in the big book of knowledge that comes with the chiller. Normally it's already set up, but it's always good to check. Minimum running speed, this one's currently 50 hertz. You'd have to read through some of the books to figure out what these parameters mean. I'm not going to go into it because it's a long story. It's good to know this is where you would find all the little setups for the program, and 4245 is your code to get into it. All right, so just moving on. If you press the status key and then just go to program, if you were just to not put a code in and just press the tick mark, it would bring you to you can adjust your suction pressure, your low ambient, your leaving liquid cutout, your motor current, your pull down current, pull down time, and your subcooling. So you can actually set those without putting a code in. It's just going back and pushing the program button. You can put whatever you want. It's all going to be the same. It's this screen's going to come up and change it. So there's sort of like a double whammy on that program button. There's one you have to put a code in, and there's one you don't have to. The options, pretty straightforward. You know, you can get your English or whatever language you want to select. Glycol cooling, water cooling, how you want to control it, local, remote, display units, lead lag. So that's what's under the options button. Date and time, very easy to set. Just press the arrow over and you can set to whatever you want, Thursday, Friday, and then just press the tick mark. And then every time you change something, so you go down, day of the month, 26, if I was to change it, press the tick mark. And just work your way through, select the month you want, the year, and the time. All right, very easy. Manual override, that's used for other things. Don't have to go into it right now. The print button, this print button is similar to the module I already did for YVAA. You're going to be using your laptop, the RS232, and the PuTTY program in your laptop, connecting up a wire. Like I say, check my other videos if you want to know the ins and outs and what you would require to do that. It's handy. It's a very handy thing to have in the pocket, because you can log all these units, fault data, operating data, and so on. Service button. This is a unique button. So with the service button, very handy. It needs another code. If you just don't put in a code, it brings you up to this screen here. And this is okay. You get to this screen, it'll tell you some information, the serial number of the unit, and some of the analog inputs and digital inputs. It gives you some information of where they're sitting currently. But that's not what we want. So what happens is, if you get the service button and you put in a code of 9675, enter, that'll bring you into service mode where you can actually turn things on and off. Like if I want to test to make sure that my VSD cooling fan and pump works, I put in that little code, and then I just I go through the selection and just hit the tick mark, and I can turn it on and test it to make sure all the fans and the pump and everything is working. And then I can turn it off. And it doesn't stop there. So as we work our way through all these inputs, we can make our way into the condenser fan section. There's a lot of inputs. So you can actually drive your economizer valves and your condensing valves. And as you work your way, there's lots of stuff to go through. As you push it, but your hand gets tired pushing the button so many times. But we will make it to the condenser fan section, and we can actually test the compressor heaters. We can make sure that they're working. Condenser fans, so system 2 and system 1, you'll be able to test all of them. So I push the button, the fan starts up, push the button, turns off, and I can go through and I can test all of them, and so on. You can test your V1 step 2 solenoids on your compressor. Okay, you got a couple of those you can check. System 2 fan output, you can turn that one on. You can check them all. You can check your amperage, make sure they're not noisy, make sure they operate. Because like I say, how else are you going to test them? You can't stand here until it's a nice hot sunny day where you get a full load. So it's fantastic being able to utilize the panel in this way, because it makes your life a lot simpler. So have a play with that, and you'll be better off. And finally, the system switches, very easy. System switches, hit the button. This is where you can turn your compressors on, off, or reset any faults that have locked out the system. Currently, system 1 is off, so we're gonna turn it on. Press the tick mark, and then go to down. System 2 is off. We're gonna turn it back on. Press the tick mark, go back to status. System switch is off. Hit your service switch, and it will come on as soon as it requires cooling. So thank you for watching my video today. If you like this kind of stuff and you want me to continue making more videos, just like and subscribe, and that'd be great. Cheers.